What is up? Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. How is everyone? I've had a great day. This is my third day off in a row, and so I'm feeling really good. I've had enough time to wander around freely, do what I want, just renew in solitude and enjoy. And last night, I've got tomato sauce stuck to my arm. Last night I made a steak. It was really good. And then tonight I made a pot of spaghetti sauce from scratch. Spaghetti bolognese. It's Italian. And I make a good spaghetti sauce and I haven't had it in a while, so I'm really excited. And I have garlic cloves roasting in the oven to spread on baguette. And I'm about to live it up. But we are here to discuss our reading a little further. And if you're like, what are you talking about? I actually do a post on Instagram on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. My account is Liz Taylor Magick. It's Liz_Taylor_Magick. And so I come on here in the evening and talk more about our daily card, or semi-daily, I guess you'd say. But I will copy and paste that blog in the description below if you're curious, because a lot of times the way that the written message comes out goes in a slightly different direction than what we talk about here, which is kind of the point. It's like I can't say everything I want to say in the space that I'm allotted when I write, especially for social media platforms. So we come on here and we talk more about it. And I'm super excited about our cards. But before we get into that, somebody had asked a question if I had any other spiritual tools that I use. I guess they mean other than tarot and oracle cards. And I was like, I'll just come on and talk about that a little bit, about my spiritual practice. So I was raised Christian in a Southern Baptist household who believed in prophecy, and our church was very small and it wasn't the typical Southern Baptist church. So it was very much like, let the spirit move you. And so I grew up with prophecy as a normal kind of issue to talk about or whatever. I am genetically Jewish, as it turns out, and I've always been really interested in Judaism, and Jesus himself was a Jew, and so I'm like, yay! So I combine both. I'm super enthusiastic about both Judaism and Christianity, and I actually have always been a mystic since I was a very, very, very tiny child. So I study Hebrew Kabbalah. And I practice that on a regular basis. But on a day-to-day, what my days look like, I get up and I put a circle of protection around myself, and I call on some of the names of God and archangels and my personal angels. And then I do the Lord's Prayer after I put the circle around me. And then after that, I scan Hebrew. Hebrew letters are a spiritual technology. Oh, that was my speaker turning off. I was like, I thought I heard my voice duplicated a million times over, and I was like, is this ego death? What's happening? Yeah, so I scan. The Hebrew letters are a spiritual technology. So if you visually stare at them, you are absorbing the energy that they are emitting, and each letter has a personality and a numerology attached to it, or a numerical value. And so each Hebrew word has its own particular energy to it. So when you scan the letters, you actually are absorbing information and light and renewal into your soul through your eyes. So I will scan the Shema prayer every morning, and the Ana B'choch, and the 72 names of God. I will scan the chart. And then there are individual names of God out of the 72 that I work with on a daily basis, and then I will scan those particular ones. And the 72 names of God are basically different combinations of sets of 3 letters out of the Hebrew alphabet that spell out certain names of God, and each name has a power associated with it. It's like a governing force, if you will. So when you stare at those letters and you meditate on them, they sort of like help you get over the challenges in that area and then help increase your powers in that area. So I do the Shema, the Anabakoach, and I scan the 72 letter names of God in the morning and at night before bed. And then on a weekly basis, I have a couple of Kabbalah classes that I'll tune into at any given time. And I tune into the new moon lecture that the Kabbalah Center puts out every new moon. And I participate in Hebrew High Holy Holidays, which the Hebrew holidays, from a mystic perspective, are openings and windows of time that allow us to connect to different qualities of energy that the Creator is, the Creator is always radiating the same wholeness and the complete light, but we are able to tune into the different notes in those keys and those chords, in particular, like potency at certain times of year. So I try to keep up with those and observe those as they're happening. I do try to align myself with the cycles of the seasons and the cycles of the day and the cycles of like the months, so the moon cycles. I do ritual work on the new moon and the full moon. I pray and meditate all throughout the day on a daily basis, and try to use my voice to speak affirmations. I try to practice gratitude. I used to have a journaling practice where gratitude was a part of it, but the specific journal day planner I used to be obsessed with went out of print, and so this year I've just been kind of doing it with different journals, and I don't know, I need to get my day planner back in action. But yeah, otherwise, sometimes energy work, if I find something that is working, or if I have something coming through myself that is doing it for me. And then I channel, and I actually pay attention to my dreams and I interpret my dreams. And then I, on a weekly basis, I do a weekly reading for myself with the cards. And I have a journaling practice, and I do to be magnetic work, which is a lot of getting into that soul searching and subconscious work, and trying to actually do the work of transmuting and changing. So Christ consciousness, all of that stuff, that's basically what I'm working on all the time. So if you're asking what's my spiritual practice, I don't know, it's almost easier for me to talk about what I'm not doing spiritually during the day, I went to the store, I did this, but I just like to take my practice with me in every moment, and it's just sort of part of my lifestyle, and it's something that brings me a lot of joy and connection and meaning and fulfillment. So it's not really a task or a chore, and it just seems like part of my routine and part of the way that I am and on a daily basis. So I know it probably sounds like a lot to people who don't really enjoy that kind of stuff. It's oh my God. But yeah, I could happily be I don't know, I feel like a little monk over here, or a little nun in a way. Okay, so today our cards for the middle of the week are talking about this thing in the air right now. I want to show you the cards that came up. So these two came up out of the Vintage Wisdom Oracle: expression and change. And this change card always strikes me very deeply. I don't know about you guys, but in the Northern Hemisphere, I know we're still in summer, and we just finished with July. We're just heading into August. And I know I'm the witchy woman, but I already feel fall vibes in the air, and just deep in my bones. I love fall. I love a cape. I love a wrap. I love a brisk wind and turning foliage, and the bittersweetness of the end of summer. And it always makes me feel so nostalgic inside of my soul. But I think that in essence, we've been feeling this wind of change blow through. And many times it's like we know that we're going through a big ending, but sometimes it doesn't truly hit until the next beginning starts becoming real. And so I don't know if you've had like maybe tinges of grief hit you in little moments where maybe something's been over and past, but you're really realizing that it's just like gone and it's over. Or like that old you is gone and that time of your life and that season is over. And it's kind of, I mean, it's bittersweet. And so I think that one of the reasons why we resist change so much is because we dread grief. We don't want to feel grief. We're afraid of it. We're afraid it will completely consume us. And usually that's what prolongs the grief process when we're wrestling against it. But when we are able to say, okay, I'm going to meet grief with an open heart, and I'm going to keep my heart open through it, and I'm going to let it process, and I'm going to let it do its work. And I'm not going to fight what has happened. I'm going to accept what is and move forward. And I'm going to reflect on what I've come through, and I'm going to try to take every little drop of value and wisdom and compassion and character that I earned in the process and bring it with me into the next thing. All right. And so now it's like we are learning this new way of expressing ourselves and putting ourselves out there in new ways. So it's important that while we're going through this change, and while we're expressing ourselves and finding this new voice within, to express what needs to come through, it's important that we don't hold ourselves back with old fears, old insecurities, codependent tendencies to want to keep everyone comfortable with like the old you. You know, we don't want to ruffle any feathers, so I better not speak up. I better not say what I want to say. I better not like what I want to like. I better, behave and be submissive and be, nice and sweet and cooperative. Like, hell no, motherfucker. No, we're not. We are authentic. We are, we're not going out like, on a rampage or anything, but we're being ourselves, and we're not asking for permission from anyone or validation or saying sorry, like just for being there. Like, we're just owning our space, right? And we are going forward in a new way and learning new ways to be. And it's not easy. It takes a little bit of time to get our nerves up to par with like the new us. It is scary at first, and everything's all uncertain and awkward or whatever, but be easy on yourself and just shake it off and go with it, right? But yes, don't resist this grief that wants to come through, because the grief really does do a lot of spiritual alchemy if you let it. If you resist the grief or stuff it down or fight with it or wallow in it too long, it can become stagnant, sour, and toxic. So allow it to pass through like digestion almost. What is nourishing from it will become a part of you, and what is not will be released and let go of. All right, you guys. So be encouraged to show up in your authentic expression, being your true self, letting your true self be seen, because the life that we're growing now has to be authentic. It has to be in integrity. It has to be real. It has to be based on the truth of who we are at our core, or it's not going to stick. And things will get very, very uncomfortable and very turbulent. The day and age that we are headed into as a human society, and I heard someone talking about recently that we are experiencing like a dark night of the soul, like as a whole human race. And yeah, I get that. I mean, I feel like I'm not really in that mode right now, but I can see that other people are feeling so confused, and they're like feeling such pressure, and like they're feeling like they're coming unraveled, and it's like, where do I turn? What do I do? How much longer is this gonna last? Like, I feel like I'm breaking. I'm gonna snap, you know? And it's like, I've been there before. And when you let it all go, and it's like you hit a breaking point where you can't go on in that state any longer, and an awakening happens. And it takes your false senses of security to crumble, and it takes a bit of disillusionment. But once you're able to accept the awakening and the expansion of consciousness, and don't fight against it, things will be flowing with much more ease, and you will be finding that you are unblocked in a way that you feel a new sense of expression coming through. And so this can be in any way. I mean, this can be like in a creative expression. Maybe there's something you're wanting to create. It can be just in the way that you are like talking to people and expressing your opinion like you never have before, because maybe you thought you needed to be quiet and small and stay out of the way, right? Maybe you're feeling like more worthy of being at the table now, which is great. So explore self-expression. Don't hold yourself back, because each of us have a light, and the Bible says, don't hide your light under a bushel basket. A light is not lit to be hid under a bushel basket. It's lit to shine. There's a purpose and a use and a value to that light. So we want to get out there and shine. And we are here in this living body to be channels for divine, to be, growing our soul, and to like taking on life and trying to progress inside and develop an intimate relationship with source and creator, with ourself and with the people that we love in our lives. And so, yeah, we are, in order to do that, we have to be able to express ourselves freely. And so living manifestations in this physical 3D world, our souls are like here in this 3D plane, and it's like this is when you have a chance to do this work. If you're not doing it, it's like you're just burning time. And so it's like about showing up and living with purpose every day. But don't stifle yourself. Don't stifle the way that you express yourself, because you, as a soul here incarnating on this earth, have been living this unique experience that only you have been living your life. Only you have seen the world through your eyes, through the things that have happened to you, through the people that you've met, through the people that you've grown to understand. You know what I mean? So you see things in a perspective that no one else can see. And so you have a responsibility to express your unique truth in this world. But you have to understand that your truth isn't the whole truth or the objective truth, right? It's just the truth to you. It's just the way that you see things. It's your perspective, right? So have humility and a sense of responsibility, but keeping yourself quiet or being afraid to express yourself, like, don't be afraid, because it's not only is it good for you to do so, you have a responsibility to the creator and to all the people in this world who, there are people out there that maybe will resonate with what you have to say. And maybe, you could help someone by saying something that they wouldn't have thought about before. You just never know. So don't be afraid to express yourself. Embrace the changes that are coming. These are good changes. It's just that every ending is bittersweet, and every beginning kind of really makes it real that you've come through something and there's no real going back. Let grief process through you, because you don't want to keep taking it with you. You want to keep the lessons and the treasure that you gained, but you don't want to take the sadness along with you every step of the way. And Don't let old fears and insecurities and old negative self-defeating patterns hold you back as you move forward. Express yourself, be authentic, be humble, be kind, be loving, but be honest. All right, y'all, keep your hearts open. I think good things are coming, even though this looks a little bit ominous. I think we're in good shape, y'all. All right, well, I will see you tomorrow after work for our Thirsty Thursday reading. Let's see if we got anything good going on in our love lives. All right, y'all, I'm gonna go water my garden, and then I'm gonna pour a glass of wine, and then I'm gonna put some baguette in the oven, and I am going to have my spaghetti. Yay! Ciao, Bellas.